It's story time!
Hello and welcome to the Storytime podcast. And this week I have with me Stephen Lynch. And would you like to shout out where everyone can find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook, Wade's Whittle Workshop, as the / thing. My fiance's YouTube channel is / Cos Challengers. I will probably just put that in the description as opposed to
all the links will be in the description.
Yeah.
So that people can click them.
So it'll be easier that way.
Yeah, and it'll be in the show notes on SoundCloud as well. And what's your Twitter handle?
Wade's Workshop.
WADES.
Yes, Workshop. Yeah.
Workshop, okay. So we're here today to talk about cosplay.
Yeah.
Which is something I have zero experience in.
Right, not even dabbled a little bit. Halloween, even.
Well, yeah, but dress up for Halloween.
That's technically cosplay.
Well, last year then I technically cosplayed as Donald Trump for Halloween.
Oh, how did that go?
Really well, actually. We loved the costume, and I think people found it very funny that there was a girl doing it.
Well, it's just sort of like tangerine makeup and a blonde wig, or
yeah, blonde wig, and I had it backcombed and hairsprayed and a suit and a red tie, and I carried around an American flag and
and a woman who kept
making the Italian hand gesture, or the thing he does with that thing. I can't describe it. You'll see it on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube.
It's like a Bollywood thing. Have you ever noticed they do that in Bollywood a lot? So that's technically cosplay. So if you want to boil it down into its base form, it's literally putting a costume on your body and then you're cosplaying. So I mean, it's just that simple, and range it from black plastic bags and witch fingers 20 odd years ago for Halloween, as I remember doing before I made my first costume, which was like a White Ranger in '94, I think it was. Nice. I was super proud of myself. A pair of marigolds and black bag, but with some electrical tape to make if I could be that creative these days, never mind. Cool story. What exactly is kind of what is cosplay? Is cosplay is putting costume onto yourself, and that's if there was a question of who can be a cosplayer, the answer is anybody. So I've been cosplaying since about officially 2011, when I went to New York Comic Con for the first time, and I was like, oh, okay, let's do something for it. So I had a Deadpool costume on the back burner for about 2 years before that, and I had the spandex part, and so it was just right, time to actually finally do something about it. And so I got it all finished and ready to go, and experience New York Comic Con for the first time. And I mean, I wasn't quite expecting the reception that I got, because a lot of people were like, oh, this is that's the best one I've seen, this is great. And then you still get things like Ninja Spider-Man and Gay Ninja and all this sort of stuff, because no one knew who Deadpool was at the time.
Oh, so you got in there before it was popular.
Yeah, I think it around about that time is when he started to really gain traction. I think it was just a good time for Deadpool fans. It was around 2011, 2012, and that's when it started to pick up momentum, especially in the States. It was funny going around New York in full costume, and no one batted an eyelid. It was
Speaking
crazy.
of Deadpool, is that Deadpool t-shirt you're wearing?
Technically, yeah. It's Boba Fett, Deadpool crossover.
And you're wearing a Deadpool band as well. And
the Boyne Fisherman's band as well, because, the Flash. And I have my Star Labs hoodie there as well, which, funny enough, the range of cosplay is really funny, because I could put on that hoodie and then essentially I could call myself a Star Labs employee, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe throw a lab coat on and over it just for funsies, and that's perfectly acceptable for a cosplay. The level of effort that gets put in is purely up to you.
Yeah, I work for a YouTube channel called Fax as one of their producers, and one of the videos we did was Irish people try cosplay for the first time, and two of the guys went, and one of their costumes, as far as I recall, had a lot of bin bags involved.
Right.
And then one of the girls went as Blonde Burke, actually, who's been on this podcast before. She went as Misty from Pokemon, and her costume was really, really good, and she even got her aunt to papier-mâché, or whatever you pronounce it, like a Pokeball thing.
Oh,
it was
cool.
Really cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
I thought you were going to say like the Togepi Yeah.
Oh, she did. Sorry, it was the Togepi she did, and then
Right.
we made the Pokeball to put the Togepi into. It was like half a Pokeball. Sorry, you're right.
Cool,
Actually,
cool.
it was the Togepi her aunt did. And
Right.
we just did the simple part, which is the half a Pokeball.
Half a ball.
Like, so she could kind of carry him in like a purse.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know she was carrying him in front of her like Misty did, but just in case she wanted to run away, she had like a little Pokeball purse.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I saw some. It was at a Dublin Comic Con. They went to.
It was Dublin Comic Con, yeah. You were mentioning earlier, you met your fiance at a comic, or not a Comic Con, but at a cosplay convention?
Yeah. We met at Arcade Con, in 2012. No. Oh, God. Now I'm going to look bad. We're like, yes, I believe it was 2012. It was 2012. No, it wasn't. No, it was... Yeah, no, it was 2012 at Arcade Con, and basically I was dressed in the same Deadpool. I was actually technically working marketing for Dublin City Comics. That was kind of my first foray into guesting at conventions. It's not really guesting, but I was doing a bit of marketing for them, handing out stuff and going, hey, look, check over the comic panel, and I just was messing with the vendors as I do, and yeah, so technically we met but didn't meet. It was this whole thing of we noticed each other and, then found each other on social media, which is the modern way of asking your mate for someone's phone number, giving them a phone and be like, hey, my friend wants to know, will you meet me? So it's a very simple story, but I promised steak and other such things. The first time we met met officially, because she hadn't seen me without my mask on.
Oh,
So she had no idea what I
Oh my
looked
god,
like.
so you were messaging her on social media being like, hey, it's the guy dressed as Deadpool. Oh my god.
So
Risky.
Risky on her part more so than mine. I knew exactly what she looked like. So then when I was at New York Comic Con in 2012, then we arranged to meet up maybe like a day after I got back, and she was like, do you not need to sleep? And I was like, no, it's fine. And we met up then, and then the rest was kind of history. But technically we met at a convention and through cosplay as well, because she noticed that I was wearing Deadpool, and like she also knew who Deadpool was before.
So you got to have a Deadpool themed wedding then?
Technically, I think our wedding will probably be more The Legend of Zelda and Star Wars, if we can.
You are actually having a themed wedding. That's amazing. I tried to convince my other half to have a themed wedding who's not having it.
What's the theme?
I wanted Game of Thrones.
Okay, well, maybe he's afraid everyone will die.
Fair. Totally fair.
There's a certain event called a Red Wedding. It was like, that's the exact theme I wanted.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Could someone get stabbed through the throat? That'd be brilliant.
Well, I also suggested Harry Potter, but he was even more against that one.
Not a Potter fan.
No, he really isn't.
Oh, I'm not a Potter fan, but I can understand the thing behind it. I was tempted to get together. There was, those stupid things on Facebook where it's like, hey, morph your face into this Harry Potter character.
Yeah.
And apparently I look like Hermione Granger. And then we kind of looked and everyone just went, damn, wait, no, you do. And so it was like, wait, well, maybe I'll do a costume of Hermione Granger.
Did you?
Oh, it's in the works. We're thinking I'm going to dress in the year one sort of school uniform and just cloak type thing. And we're going to call it Hermione Granger. Because puns. Because that's another aspect of cosplay that a lot of people get into, and I've never really indulged, but we might give it a go, is like gender bending and Rule 63, I believe it's called.
What? Please explain that.
Rule 63 is where you would take a character that is the opposite to your own gender and then sort of either reimagine the character as the opposite gender or just wear it as exactly as is. I don't think there's really any hard and fast rules behind it, but I mean, there's plenty of cosplayers that do it amazingly. Like, I'm sure people have heard of Nicole Marie Jean and Jessica Negri. I've heard of Jessica
Negri because Philip Franco talks about her a lot, and I follow her on Instagram because he told me to. And she's quite good. Yeah,
she does a lot of gender bending and stuff like that, or even what would you call it, like sort of she alters the concept of costumes, like, you know, she kind of goes along the sort of sexy side of cosplay.
I was going to say hers seem very provocative, kind of.
Yeah, that's her kind of her bag. Like, not all of her costumes are considered on the provocative side of things. Some of her costumes are really, really like covered up armor and things like that, which is crazy, but I think that's more when she wants to challenge herself to
and the effort that goes into her stuff, like, because again, I follow her on Instagram and I do see sometimes she puts up like her making things or progress pics.
So sometimes the stuff she's like, oh, I've just decided to dabble in a bit of metalwork today, and you're just like, where have you got these facilities? Like,
and would somebody like Jessica Neri like make her, that's obviously her career, is it? So you can make cosplay your career.
It would be very rare. Like, I think the saturation point is far too large for anyone to legitimately, you know, kind of make a breakaway. You need to be creating some crazy thing. You would probably need to build a fully functional Iron Man costume to make an impact.
To get attention. I was at a Dublin Comic Con, but a couple of years ago for the Irish Bucket List, I volunteered.
Yeah.
So I was helping out, and there was like
You might have been dealing with my fiancée. She's head of volunteers.
Oh, then probably. It was a good few years ago. I will say 2014, 15. I'm actually not sure. It was a good few years ago anyway. But and there was this massive like robot, and I know it's from some film, but I didn't know what
might
film
have
was.
been
Huge like
Ironhide from Transformers.
Yeah, I thought it was from Transformers. Alright,
Yeah.
see, I haven't actually watched Transformers, so I wasn't sure. But it was enormous. It was like, and everyone was like.
That would be Brian.
Like in awe.
That would be Brian. It's one of the weird things of the cosplay community here. It's extensive, but it's so small. Like,
you know
everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's Brian.
Yeah,
Brian.
It's like, oh, these, like, you know, someone would go, oh, I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you'd be like, oh, that's Brian. Or, you know, generally, if I mention about, oh, that's Brian.
Are you the Ranger guy? Because your profile picture is also you dressed as Power Rangers, is it not?
Yeah. So basically, that's kind of what a little bit at the moment I'm known more for being a Power Ranger than for being Deadpool. But then, I mean, Power Rangers is childhood, like, ultimate thing.
Ultimate nostalgia, yeah.
I mean, that was possibly, you know, formative thing, you know, where you kind of go, so what kind of person are you going to be when you're older? I'm going to be a Power Ranger, and I was.
And you mentioned guesting at cons. What is that? Tell me.
Generally, depending on the extent of it, like if the convention is sort of like maybe a wide variety of celebrity guests and things like that, I might just be there to do talks and panels and the likes of that. But if it's a cosplay oriented convention, then generally I have a lot more to do. I might be judging the cosplay contests or hosting, even like being the main host of the entire event, which is probably my favorite thing to do ever. Because generally I do it as Deadpool, because then I get to be mean to people and everyone thinks that you're being funny about it, but you're just like, no, I'm actually a bad person in real life.
So you've hosted one?
Yeah. A couple of years back when Dublin Comic Con was just getting started, I was doing like the Q&A with the guests and stuff like that, which was good fun at first. And then the Irish Pubcast took over hosting duties because there's more members. They could do multiple events, whereas I can only do really one thing. And so I was put in charge of social media for Dublin Comic Con instead, which is kind of like, you know, cosplay based. I do it as Deadpool again, and generally different variations. At the moment, my favorite variation is the end of credits Deadpool, where I can just wear a bathrobe and a vest and carry around a coffee mug, and everyone thinks it's great. And I'm like, I'm so comfortable right now, coming out in a pair of slippers and things like that.
That's so cool.
But the latest guest spot I did was in the Czech Republic. There at animefest.cz. I don't know if they call it like officially .cz, because there's other anime fests in the world, I'm sure. But I was in Brno in the Czech Republic there last weekend to be a cosplay guest, essentially. And I was there to judge the contest and there to do some talks and panels. And yeah.
And how do you get known from other conventions? Do they contact Dublin Comic Con and say, like, here, have you got anyone?
Not as such. I think my Facebook page, it gets people known, and then the odd time I would go to another convention and people would be like, oh God, you know, you should really come to our convention, like in this country, and then I'd be like, well, the best thing to do is you contact the organisers and you say that you want me there, because that's kind of the best way, is just direct word of mouth. I'm supposed to be a voice actor. Like, word of mouth networking. Like,
so you have a public Facebook page for your cosplay, do you?
Yeah, which is
cool.
The Wade's Whittle Workshop one.
Yeah, so we'll make sure to put that link in the description so people can click it. Yeah, and what is your fiance's like chosen cosplay?
Chosen cosplay at the moment, she is the pink to my red. So,
in the Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like Harley Quinn is such a huge one for her. She has like 5 or 6 different Harley Quinns, which, you know, in the internet stakes of Deadpool and Harley Quinn, it's like a match made in heaven kind of thing. Yeah. So I think people had been shipping us, as the kids call it. I'm up on all of the lingo. I'm like shipping and a one true pairing of Harley Quinn and Deadpool, because it's their crazy works with one another. So that probably translates to real life. Harley Quinn would be her main, but I mean, she's done things like Final Fantasy characters. I think she's done Yuna from Final Fantasy X. Selfie from Final Fantasy VIII.
Jesus, I totally don't know what these characters are, but I'm very impressed by the list.
Yeah.
Do you have loads of stuff all over your house, like
yes.
bits of costumes?
I don't even need. You don't even need, and it's all mine. I am the worst. I create such a mess and then take so long to clean it up. I'm the worst. I'm actually the worst. But like when it comes to crafting, it's weird. If you give yourself 3 months to craft. This is just me. I can't speak for the cosplay community in general. I could give myself 3 months and I'll slowly chip away at it, like doing little bits each. Maybe every week you just spend an hour or two doing something, and then realize maybe 2 days before the convention that I still have loads to do. Or I can leave it till 3 days before the convention and get the same amount of work done and still not be finished. So yeah, I'm time management is like my main thing. It's so
Have
good.
you ever done like a costume like totally off the wall, like as in not Deadpool, not Power Rangers, not something people expected you to do? Apart from Hermione, which is
Hermione Granger.
Which
it's
is
going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm dying to see that now. I'm going to have to follow you on Facebook.
I think I'm just going to have to like not do the standard thing. I just like, if there's the long socks, just make sure I don't shave my legs and just be kind of a little bit gross about it, I think.
Yeah.
Just get to go around going, Leviosa.
Yeah, that's very good.
God, I mean, there's a couple of costumes you just do for the laugh. I did Doc Brown one Halloween, the sort of future yellow coat and thing, and that was a huge thing for just makeup alone. I wanted to make myself look proper old, and I know nothing of wigs, so my fiance styled my wig for me. We got this lovely long white wig from Claire's Accessories and destroyed it. Like, that is another part of cosplay. You're finding things from like when I did my Green Arrow back in the day, when CW's Arrow, I don't know if you watched that.
Yes, my fiance liked it.
Liked. Yeah, that seems to be the vibe
not.
everyone gets.
I did not enjoy it.
No.
Found it very dull.
Yeah, it picks up here and there. It's all about the
I've heard that like if you give it a couple of seasons it gets good or whatever. I think I quit on the first season. I was like, I'm done with your family interaction. It's boring me. And his sister, I couldn't get over. She used to be in the OC and I just couldn't disassociate her from the OC. I was like, I can't get into this.
Really dislike the I have a big problem with characters in shows, and it's this running problem with me, and we're getting totally off track, and I apologize, but
that's okay.
I have this big problem with characters that seem to be totally and utterly inept. at
drives
life.
me. I couldn't stand her.
Then they focus like everything around them and make them badass, but it never works because you remember how inept they were.
I obviously wasn't still watching by the time she became badass.
She like basically became his sidekick.
Spoiler for the CW's Arrow. Don't bother watching it. It's not worth your time.
That's more a case of just don't bother watching it on your phone. No, it's all about the Flash. That's for me. If you watch the Flash versus CW, because you keep up with Arrow because they're all interconnected now, which I think DC's cinematic universe could learn a lot from the TV.
Yeah. So you did the Flash from the CW once.
I did.
Sorry, the Arrow from the CW. So it was basically just like a hoodie.
Yeah. The hood is the funny part. Is going into like a thrift store, and I went into like this vintage store and picked up this like probably 20-30-year-old vintage suede jacket. And completely just cut it apart for the materials, and I was just like, I think there's like a bunch of hipsters just somewhere going, oh no, it was vintage suede. You'll never get something like that again. And
you wasted it.
Yeah,
ruined it.
So that was, that's the thing you do. You go into a thrift store, you'll find something that's made of a material you really like, because it'll probably be cheaper to buy the pre-made thing and then just tear it apart. Like you go into Penny's and you need a pattern for something, you buy a cheap t-shirt and you cut it apart and do what you need to. But yeah, like that's just one of the silly things you do, is just going into thrift stores and going in and touching everything. You just you're like, well, how does that feel? And just going around rubbing things no, not rubbing things on your face, but
So to see us out, what is, like, do you have a cosplay story, your best cosplay story that you tell people?
It's like my sort of greatest achievement in cosplay happened in 2012. I peaked very early. In 2012, we met the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld. Now, a lot of people like to make fun of him for his like artwork. It hasn't really developed since the 90s. That's neither here nor there, but we found out, and he was like the nicest guy, like just the nicest guy. And basically he met us, and my friend in Dublin City Comics wanted his original New Mutants 98 signed by Rob Liefeld, because, that's pretty cool. And so we went up to him, and he just was like, oh, whoa, holy crap, like, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. He was like, how did you do this, and what's that, and oh my god, and how did you get all these weapons into New York Comic Con?
So you were dressed as Deadpool?
Oh yeah, at the time. So like,
nice.
And
you impressed the inventor of Deadpool, or the creator of Deadpool. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, he then took a picture of me. Like, we wanted a picture with him anyway, because it's like, oh, this is great. And then he took a picture of me with him on his phone and posted to his Facebook, then saying my firstborn son. And so that's kind of a little achievement in itself.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was a nice honor to be basically called his firstborn son, because he has more children, but obviously I'm the most important one. That's my like big achievement story. As I said, I peaked very early. It was all downhill from there, into obscurity and oldness. I'm like now in the, what would you call it, like the small echelon of folk in the over 30 cosplay.
Is that a small market?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting bigger now. Like, more people who would have been into dressing up when they were younger. Like, but, maybe 10 years ago, when you think about it, like, nobody was really doing this. So they kind of missed out. And so now, in retrospect, they're going, well, everybody else is dressing up, I'm going to do it too. So people in their 40s and 50s are getting into cosplay, and it's really kind of awesome,
I'd actually love to do it, but if I just feel like I don't have the time to make the costumes. My favourite costume I ever did was for Halloween again, because I love Halloween. I make a big effort for Halloween every year, but it's just the one time of the year, do you know what I mean? And for the other 11 months I don't have to make an effort. But I did the bride from Corpse Bride.
Oh, nice one.
And I was planning it for years, and I was really happy with that one. I even made the wedding dress like from scratch. Yeah. Although it was fairly, it was sort of hand sewn together. Like it wasn't exactly like an amazing wedding dress made from scratch, but it was technically made from scratch.
But you made it yourself.
I did make it
myself.
myself.
Felt good.
And I painted myself blue from head to toe, and yeah, it was really good.
So,
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so let's flip this on you now.
Okay.
Right.
There we
So
go.
if you wanted to get into cosplay, like what would be obstacle, no money, nothing, no obstacles. What would be like your ultimate costume or character to become?
Oh my god, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because I kind of off the top of my head I'd probably say someone from Harry Potter, but like I actually don't really think that is the answer. It's just
Right.
the easy answer.
Yeah.
I think I'd prefer to do something like a Tim Burton character.
All right.
So it potentially wouldn't actually be a superhero or anything. I don't know
Doesn't
if that's...
have to
it doesn't
be,
have to be a
yeah.
superhero?
No, it could be
Oh, then
anybody.
definitely, yeah, it'd be some sort of animated character, potentially a Tim Burton character. But I do properly. I would do the bride again, definitely, like proper, like get an actual wedding dress, like secondhand somewhere.
Yeah, go to a vintage
do it
store,
properly,
destroy a perfectly lovely
a
dress.
perfectly lovely wedding dress. I'd actually love to do that one again and do it properly. I did Sally as well. Actually, I've got it.
All right.
Here's my character.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do Jack Skellington.
Nice.
And I've never done it because I want to do it properly. If I'm ever going to dress as Jack Skellington, I want it 100%. Actually, that's a lie. I actually dressed as him last Halloween.
I thought it was Donald Trump.
So I did two parties.
Trump skeleton.
I thought about that, but then I thought nobody would get it.
Right.
So I did the Friday night, I did Jack, and then the Saturday night I did Trump. But it wasn't. I actually did quite a good Jack, but I want to do the proper, like, 'cause I just
Big giant head.
painted. I probably want to make the head. That's what I want to do. If money wasn't an object, time wasn't an object, and I had the skills, I'd make the head, and I'd make the little dog as well, because I didn't have the dog.
Zero.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. How would you do that? That'd be...
Yeah, I watched something online that was like there is a tutorial online on how to make it so it moves.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it seems actually simple enough. You just buy. I think you buy one of those. You know those barky dogs that move the legs.
Yeah.
And then you put like a thing on it, and then you kind of attach it to it, so when he moves the legs, it's on YouTube.
I must look that up now, because now I'm curious. I was more thinking like, sort of use the sort of invisible dog leashes, where you don't really have a dog, it's just a solid leash and people...
Oh yeah, that'd be quite clever.
You use that to like have it flying, and then use the fake fire fan things where it's
Vaguely.
just there were all the rage a couple of years back. It's just like basically a fan, and there's a couple of bits of filament and LEDs would light it up, and it would look kind of vaguely like fire, I guess. But you could do that sort of thing underneath like a light chiffon-y material, and
make it move,
and have some lights and stuff.
Yeah, so if I was going to do cosplay properly, or a costume properly, I'd make the full-on Jack Skellington, get a proper suit, like a tailored suit, because we're talking money's not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So tailored pinstripe suit, and I'd make the neck thing as well, and then make the full head.
Yeah. See, goals.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a goal now.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout out again where we can find you on social media? I will put the links in the description and in the show notes on SoundCloud.
So it'd be facebook.com/Wade's Whittle Workshop, or
Wade's Whittle Workshop.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I was in the Czech Republic, and they're like, "This is Whittle," and I was like, "The important part is Wade." If you're gonna call me anything,
Here's Whittle.
yeah, I was because everyone else was standing up and bowing, and Whittle, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Sorry, so facebook.com/Wade's Whittle Workshop, or just search Whittle Wade. On YouTube is the /Cos Challengers. There's not much cosplay on there. Thinking of putting on more.
So
Eventually.
what's Cos Challengers about? That's your fiance's YouTube channel, is it?
It's ours. We work together on it. Basically, it's just anything and everything. We just do it for funsies. Like, we do a couple of cover songs and things like that. One got like really successful until Disney put a stop to it. Which with Moana, I was just like, the song "You're Welcome."
Yeah. Well, no.
No. Okay.
I don't know why I said yes. I'm doing mine.
Yes. I mean, no.
Brave is another one I'd do.
The
Girl Merida from Brave. Because I think that one would be simpler.
Yeah. Well, in theory.
In theory, just because,
Until you start doing the research.
Well, that's true, because the dress would probably...
Crushed velvet or some jazz.
Yeah.
We did, like, You're Welcome, which is the big song from Moana, because somebody got it stuck in my head. I hadn't even seen the film at this point, and someone got it stuck in my head, so I had to get it out, and the only way I could get it out was to sing it, and I did the video and all that, and then Disney were like, no. And you're like, oh, well, that's okay, I got 750,000 views out of it, that's alright, go on.
You should have done Be Our Guest just before Beauty and the Beast came out.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not a big fan of Beauty and the Beast. It's not one of my favourites.
Do you know what would be an amazing cosplay?
Okay.
The Beast.
Yes, I know someone
Wouldn't
who does
it?
one. I know someone who does one.
Oh my god.
So, but there's so much like involved in like the fur and...
Yeah, it'd be insane. I'd be so hot and sweaty, I'd say.
Oh, there's people who... Now, there's a bit of like, what would you call it? Like a stigma behind fursuit wearers, and people like use this term furry and...
Yeah, but I thought furries was a sex thing. I thought furries was like a completely separate thing to cosplay.
Not entirely, because for not all... Okay, so the furry community is not always to do with sex. Usually it's just, as I say, the fursuit wearers, and generally anyone who has what's called a fursona would be... Yeah, I know. It's there's terminology for everything.
I really appreciate that one. It's such a good one. Fursona.
But a fursona, anyone who has a fursona is technically a furry. I think. I'm not like 100%.
Yeah, you're not 100% okay.
But there is a sexual component to
some
furries. Some furries are into the furry sexual part, but not all furries are into it. I think it's called yiffing, which is what is the sort of the subsection of the culture. But other than that, it's a perfectly normal like thing. It's just, you know, people who to differing degrees, much like in cosplay, to differing degrees will have an extension of their fursona. They might have an entire costume devoted to it, or like an entirely fully enclosed fursuit. And I always feel sorry for them at conventions because they must be dying.
Yeah, it must be so warm.
Especially when there's lots of people around, and usually like some of them are so cute. Like some of them one came up for a cosplay contest one time, and her fursona was actually her dog. So she had like basically made this entire costume around her dog, and it was really cool.
Oh, I'd totally do that. Yeah, I'd totally do that. That sounds really interesting and fun to me. I love my dog.
You just be running around barking at people then?
Oh, I thought you meant like she did like a stand-up version.
Oh, it is a stand-up, but
yes, she didn't go on all fours. No, I'm not about that. I'm doing that.
That's a different subsection again.
Different. Yeah,
instead of going around barking at people though.
Yeah, in fact, we watched one of the videos. The guys watched this Channel 4 TV show about guys who like to dress up as dogs.
Right.
But that's more of a sex thing.
Right. Yeah, Channel 4 can be good for its documentaries sometimes, but then like when they want to say a message, they're like, yeah, let's make this all about sex, because let's face it, what sells on Channel 4 more than a good old sex story? So they sometimes make everything all about that, and they probably would turn around and be like, cosplay, it's about sex. Look at this porno. It's like, okay, but there is cosplay porno as well, which is again another subset.
Yeah. That's rule. What is it? Rule 42. If it exists, there's porn of it. Is it 42?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of...
I think it's...
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Wasn't that 43?
43, right, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was rule 42, there's, if it exists, there is porn of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. I know you will.
Just people just going, no, this.
It's 24. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on the Storytime podcast. I'm sorry it was slightly less stories and more me asking questions, but
that's fine.
I was just
hopefully
really interesting topic.
Entertained and educated.
Yeah, and like if people wanted to go to a conference, when's the next one in Dublin?
The next big one is Dublin Comic Con. We've mentioned it like 4 or 5 times now because it's probably one of the better examples of a big convention. There are plenty of small conventions around Ireland. I'll need to find and link you.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Like a schedule. There's like basically a website devoted to just scheduling out all the smaller
wow, okay,
cons.
well, I'll put the link to that down in the description as well. And then, but Dublin Comic Con I think is on during the summer, isn't it?
August.
Oh yeah, so the next one then is around August time.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
there is other cons coming up. There's like MCM and things like that. But MCM, if you're looking for more of a community driven thing, that's not really MCM's bag. It's more of like a trading kind of thing. Like cosplayers do go to it, but it hasn't got the same community element. I feel anyway. I've been to MCM a few times, and it feels more like a trade hall / here's some celebrities, and that's kind of it. And it's not quite the same experience. I don't think there's any panels that go on. There's no talks or Q&As and things like that, so it's not kind of the same feel. But I mean, if you want to go and meet certain celebrities, feel free. I think they have Troy Baker and Nolan North from Uncharted, and if you're a big voice actor buff like me, those names mean a lot. So
I'm just like, who?
Yeah, Troy Baker's also a musician. He's like a rock star, basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll put the link in the description to the schedule as well as all your social media stuff. And thank you so much for coming on.
No, it's fine.
We are on. Thank you for listening to the SoundCloud. Thank you for listening to the Storytime podcast. We're on SoundCloud and YouTube and Stitcher and wherever else you like to get your podcasts. Hopefully, if the links are all working in iTunes. Yeah. And follow us on Twitter and check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Clisare. See you next week.
And thanks for listening to my crap.